You know, I used to wonder why these people banded together in these secret society to preserve their secret knowledge instead of coming out and educating people and helping people with it. And now I know. It's because even today they'd still be burned at the stake. There's a lot of you out there that would be burning me at the stake if you could, simply because I've thrown the truth in your face and then I've ground it in. I'm beginning to have a much greater respect for the Illuminati than I ever have in the past. You know, they've been telling me for years, Bill, these people will spit on you. We know that you're telling them the truth, but they don't want to hear the truth, and that's why they have to be controlled and manipulated and led to the slaughter. And I always said in my stupidity, no, you're wrong. You see, you've been hiding the truth from them. All you have to do is show them the truth and things will be better. It will change. We'll have a good world. Peace on earth. Nobody will have to kill anybody again. We can live in freedom and liberty, responsible with the truth. Boy, what a fool I have been all these years. You know, one of the biggest differences between me and most of you is when I'm wrong and when I'm stupid, I don't let my ego get in the way. I can look in the mirror and I can say, Bill, you're stupid. And you better change your ways. And I do. Because I don't like to be stupid, and I've done it several times in my life. Why in the world did I ever justify hanging my butt out over the cliff? For most of you, I'll never know. Some of you I do know. Some of you are really good people. Most of the good people I know belong to the Intelligence Service or the Citizens Agency for Joint Intelligence. And there are few, very few who don't. But most of you, I'll tell you the truth, after all the misery that you cause those who spend their lives trying to help you, you don't deserve the time of day from any of us. And that's the truth. You're going to get what you deserve. I can assure you of that right now. You're not going to have a savior in the next election. In fact, you are going to ensure that the election is lost to the enemy. And it's going to be the American people who does it, not the enemy. Stupid Americans, ignorant Americans, dummies. Who never have changed their life since high school. If you really want to understand adult society, and I don't care what you call your society or what level of education you have, go look at any high school student body. Look at the games they play and the cliques they have and what they spend most of their time doing. And that is the same thing that you'll find in any adult group of people in this nation on any day of the week you want to look. They don't want to go to school. They spend a lot of time trying to keep from going to school. The only reason that they really go to work, most of them, some of them really like their work. Most of them is so that they get a paycheck so that they can party and get laid. Or buy that big car that they wanted, and to hell with what's going on in Washington, D.C. until they take my car or my party away. I'm just really not worried about it. Isn't that the truth? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've found that that's exactly the truth. And when you set out to find the truth, it's not really to find the truth, it's to find validation for what you already believe is the truth. It's to reinforce your fantasies. And you will reject anything that conflicts with your personal interests or your personal agenda. Oh, I've met so many third-degree Freemasons. They've gone up 3 degrees. They're third on the rung in the Blue Lodge. They don't know anything about the other degrees, have never taken them, never studied them, don't know what's going on, and they'll swear to you that nothing's going on up there. And they're not the only ones. American workers wonder why they're in the shape that they're in. They're wondering why everybody's leaving for foreign countries. Well, wouldn't you, if you owned a manufacturing plant and you were put in a position where you had to pay somebody $16 an hour to wait for a door to float by on an assembly line and put in 2 bolts, screw them down tight, and then let it go on by? And then listen to these people bitch and complain when they got laid off or when the factory had to close? Because these are trained American workers and they're too old to learn another trade. Well, if that's true, folks, then you really are monkeys, and that's the fact of the matter. If that's all that you could ever do in your life and you consider that to be highly trained, then you haven't got a brain. Monkeys are smarter than you. And police officers sworn to uphold the law, protect and defend the Constitution of their state and of the United States of America, blatantly ignoring the law, stripping the rights from citizens, committing crimes just so they don't lose their job. Afraid that if they lose their job, they won't be able to find another job that pays as well. You make me puke. You talk about gag me with a spoon. I mean, I am sick of this stuff. I'm so sick of it, you're going to see some major changes coming on this broadcast and in my organizations. I've had it with you. My family and I are going to enjoy life from now on. We're still going to print Veritas, and it's still going to be the best paper in the United States of America, and this is still going to be the best radio broadcast, but it's going to be a lot different than what it has been. And my organization is still going to consist of the best people in this country collecting information so that we can deal with what's coming. We meaning me and my people. The rest of you, frankly, my dear Scarlett, can go soak your heads. You're really not worthy of all the great men and women who have laid down their lives and their reputations and suffered great personal attacks, all for you. I don't even come within the width of the universe to even being remotely a fly speck compared to Jesus Christ. And if that man, in all his teachings and all that he tried to do, ended up crucified on a hill, how in the world did I ever think that I was going to be any different? Or that anybody else is going to be any different? And this is probably the same attitude that the politicians in Washington take. When they listen to their constituents say the government spends too much money, we've got to cut down on the size of the government and on the spending of the government, so they say, okay, we'll cut back. And so they start cutting back, and they start paring down. And they're going to close a government facility in your town. You were the ones that were yelling and screaming about the government spending and the size of the government, but now they're going to close a facility in your town, and you attack them viciously. You tell them they're not going to get reelected if they close that government facility down in your town. Don't you stupid boobs know that everybody in every town in the United States is doing the same damn thing? And that's why government doesn't shrink. Government can't shrink. You can't take something away from fools once you've given it to them, even if the fools know that it should be taken away. So government keeps growing and growing and growing, and it'll keep growing and growing and growing until it just absolutely collapses and a new order will come in. And a despotism will rule. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The whole structure is going to collapse into total and absolute chaos. And a lot of these so-called patriots are going to turn into petty little warlords. They're going to rape, loot, and steal. And so are other people who are not even patriots. Some patriots will try to preserve law and order and will be killed in the process. And the ruling elite will simply go underground until it's all finished. Seems that somebody at the satellite uplink couldn't handle the truth either, ladies and gentlemen, so they cut us off the satellite. Well, that won't work because the tape is here and it's going to get out. What's going to happen is this whole structure is going to fall apart into utter and total chaos. The ruling elite are going to go underground and wait it out while everybody up here just kills each other off. Then they'll come back up and establish a despotism. And you will be ruled like the lodge rules its members. You will be pledged to absolute obedience. And you'd better hope that the despot is a benevolent. You will destroy yourselves and you will get exactly what you deserve, and those of us who don't deserve it and who want to live by the truth will do the best we can for each other. There really isn't anything to do for the rest of you. You go from one dead end to another. You don't like to be in the middle of the river so that you will get to any kind of a destination. You keep getting caught up in these little eddies that spin around and around and around. You are the flotsam and the jetsam of the battle of life. And you are tossed willy-nilly here and there by the tides and the waves and the oceans and the storms. Those of us who fight the battles are the ones who get somewhere. The rest of you, as in all of history, always fall mercy to the victor of the battle. And it never really matters who it is. For whoever it is, as long as you are the sheep, it doesn't matter who they are or what they do, they will always be the wolves. And all of this realization and this pain, I still wish you well, but knowing that it is your nature that you will not do well. You did not make this nation. Great men sticking their lives in the balance made it for you. You have thrown it away. And I hope God has some mercy, and I hope He can really bless you all. Good night.